Good evening and welcome to another edition of Down to the Wire. I'm your host, derbiologist, and joining me tonight is Cappin' with Candace. And Candace, this week we are going to start off our Down to the Wire broadcast with the Jerome handicap from the Big A. This race is worth 10 points officially from Churchill Downs, an 8-horse field to start off this race.
Yeah, and you have to think the big name here is Noble Moon, who starts from the rail.
One of the things I always do when I handicap 3-year-olds, especially stakes races early on in the Triple Crown Trail, is kind of determine the pace of the race. And I noticed when looking at the past performances that the only victory that a horse on the outside, Master Lightning, his only win when he went wire to wire. And so I just have a sneaky feeling he is going to be sent today.
Yeah, you have to think he set the pace in the Remsen, I believe. But that's kind of worrisome for him here because he set a really, really, really slow pace and clearly did nothing with it. I think he finished 5th. So, but he'll be in the front, you have to think.
Lawmaker comes in from Laurel Park. He picked up a victory in his maiden race at this distance.
Yeah, he's Malibu Moon out of Sir Cat mare, too, and Chad Brown trade. One to keep an eye on. I think he's a little bit under the radar.
And then a maiden horse that's kind of being talked about a little bit is Scotland. He ran into a nice horse last race.
Yeah, I really like Scotland. Other than Noble Moon, he's really the only horse here who I think has a chance. Like you said, he finished 2nd last time out to Surfing USA, who's a horse that I really like a lot. And he beat Juba in that race, who's a little immature, but I think is also going to turn out to be a nice horse. So he hasn't won yet, Scotland, but he's ran very well in both his starts, 2 second-place finishes.
Well, I'm going to take the obvious pick here and go with Noble Moon. I just think that he kind of class-wise has an edge, and I've been impressed with both of his races.
Yeah, you have to think that he's a very obvious favorite in here. He broke his maiden in his first attempt before running really respectably in the Nashua. Given his start, I think he was bumped at the start and had to go about 6 wide and still ran really well.
So for me, I'm going to go pretty much a win bet on Noble Moon, $20, and just hopefully get even money.
Yeah, you'd have to think that 6 to 5 or anything better than that would be good. I like Scotland here. I don't think his price will necessarily be that much better than that of Noble Moon's. Maybe it'll go up a little. But my play for this race is going to be a pick 3 for races 6, 7, and 8. Try to get some value in there because I think that it's really between the 2 favorites in this race, between Noble Moon and Scotland. So I have a pick 3, race 6, 1, 6, 7, race 7, 2, 6, 8, and race 8, 1, 2.
Top horses, most of the horses seem to be down in Gulfstream. There's a few out west. And I know you watch a lot of races just like I do, and we kind of prepared a top 5 list or some horses to kind of look at as we enter the Triple Crown season.
Yeah, our lists were strikingly similar, that's for sure. I think we had one different.
My list looks like this. I didn't really rank them yet. Cairo Prince, Coup de Grace, Honor Code, Shared Belief, and Unknown Road. I think at this point I'm just trying to identify performances that stood out to me a little bit more than some other horses. And some of these have breeding. Some of these have fast speed figures. And another horse, like a horse like Coup de Grace, really I'm just kind of projecting that he is going to improve. What about your 5?
For my 5, I did rank them. I had Havana at number 5, which I think was our only difference. 4 was Shared Belief, who just won the Cash Call Futurity. 3 was Cairo Prince, who finished a game 2nd to Honor Code in the Remsen. 2 was Honor Code, and 1 was Coup de Grace, who we just talked about. But like you said, it's really picking and choosing right now. There's plenty of others I can mention. Gold Hawk, Surfing USA, who I talked about before. But for now, I'll keep it to those 5.
What impressed you most with Honor Code's race?
Honor Code to me, when I put him in the slot, in all honesty, it's not because of a ton of things. Like, he's looked good on track, but he bothers me in that I think he's incredibly overrated for what he's done. He's done well. He finished second to Havana in the Champagne. He won the Remsen over Cairo Prince, and he looked good in both of them. But I feel like people act like he's kind of the second coming of Secretariat or something, and he's not there yet. Maybe he will be. But I like him in this spot because he is absolutely bred for a classic distance. If there's any horse that I don't have to be worried about them going 2 turns, it's him. That's for sure.
Well, I'm looking forward to the races each week. One of the things with the Triple Crown is that with injuries and with changes of plans and with the new point system, seemed to be some heightened awareness last year. And, you know, a lot of times in the past, horses would kind of just pick a spot to stay, but it seemed like last year horses shipped around more to try to get some points.
Yeah, and it'll think it's going to be a more interesting dynamic when we get to the Derby too. Seeing these horses and like you talked about for this race about pace, I think it's going to matter more than ever now that we have this point system. It kind of keeps the sprinters out of it a little more. I think last year was a little bit of an anomaly with what happened with Palace Malice. So it'll be interesting going forward to see how some of these pace setups turn out without these sprinters around.
Looking forward to the Jerome this Saturday. Your choice is Noble Moon along with Scotland, and
Mm-hmm.
my top choice, I'm going with just Noble Moon. So we'll watch this race this weekend, and then next week we get a chance to preview the Sham Stakes, which will be an important race out west.
Yep, looking forward to it.
Great. Well, Candace, thanks for joining me here tonight, our first edition of Down to the Wire. And you can go to our blogs, derbyologist.com and Capping with Candace, and also follow us on Twitter. Until next week, this has been Down to the Wire with Derbyologist and Capping with Candace.